In January of 2024, a recording started spreading through a high school in Baltimore County, Maryland. In it, the principal, Eric Eiswert, appears to complain about black students and their test scores, and to disparage Jewish people. It moved through the school, onto social media, and then it was everywhere. He was placed on leave. Police were posted outside his home. His career that week was finished. One problem: he never said it. Investigators determined the audio had been generated by AI, and the person who made it wasn't a stranger. Police said it was his own athletic director, a man whose contract Eiswert had just declined to renew. He was arrested and later sentenced to 4 months in jail. The voice was fake. Every consequence was real. Stay with me for 2 things: the detail that finally cracked that recording open, and the law taking effect on August 2nd that was written for this exact problem and would not have stopped 1 second of it. So let's start with what actually changed. As of August 2nd, 2026, the European Union's AI Act switches on 3 rules you'll actually notice. 1. If you're talking to an AI, it has to tell you. No more wondering whether that support chat was a person. 2. AI systems that generate images, audio, video, or text have to mark what they produce in a machine-readable way, so software can identify it even when your eyes can't. 3. Publishing a deepfake, meaning realistic content showing real people doing or saying things they never did, means disclosing it. The penalties aren't symbolic. Up to 15 million euros, or 3% of a company's worldwide revenue, whichever is bigger. There's a grace period. Systems already on the market get until December 2nd to fix their watermarking. Yes, it's a European law, but like the privacy rules before it, it binds anyone whose product reaches European users, which is every major AI company on Earth. Labeling becomes the default everywhere, including here, and it now has a look. In June, the European Commission published a standard set of icons, so an AI label means the same thing everywhere. That matters more than it sounds. A label only works if it's boring and universal. Noticing one mark's absence turns out to be the whole game, and also the trap. Now, how this is actually done, because the law makes a lot more sense once you see what it's up against. Cloning a voice used to take a studio session. Now it takes about 3 seconds of audio. 1 birthday video, 1 voicemail greeting, 1 graduation speech somebody filmed on a phone. Whoever wants your voice doesn't need to hack anything. They need to press play on something you already posted. And it isn't only voices. The same collapse in cost hit video, photos, text. What used to be a specialist's craft became a monthly subscription. Fakes were always possible. What changed is they got cheap, fast, and good enough to survive a phone speaker on a bad connection. Exactly the situation a scam call is built to create. Panic, poor audio, no time. Nobody asks you to authenticate a voice calmly. They ask you at 11 at night, half asleep, when the voice is crying, which is how it landed on Jennifer DeStefano, an Arizona mother who answered her phone one afternoon in 2023 and heard her 15-year-old daughter Bree sobbing, saying she'd messed up. A man's voice took over the call, claimed to have her daughter, and demanded $1 million, dropping to $50,000 in cash when DeStefano said that was impossible. Her daughter was on a ski trip with her father, completely fine, no idea any of it was happening. What saved DeStefano wasn't that she detected the fake. She didn't. She later testified to the Senate Judiciary Committee that it was her daughter's voice, the inflection, the crying, all of it. What saved her was the room she was standing in. Other people nearby made calls, reached her husband, and confirmed within about 4 minutes that Bree was safe on the mountain. 4 minutes. That's the entire margin. And DeStefano put her finger on why this works, in 1 line to the Senate. The sound of a loved one's voice is never authenticated. We treat it as identity, as unique as a fingerprint, and we've never once had to check it. Now read those two stories against the law that just took effect, and notice what it doesn't reach. This is the part I want you to leave with. Article 50 regulates providers and deployers, companies mostly. The athletic director in Baltimore wasn't a company. The man on the phone to Jennifer DiStefano wasn't filing a transparency report. Criminals don't comply with labeling requirements. That's more or less what makes them criminals. This law was written to make the legitimate side of the industry honest, and that's genuinely worth doing. It was never going to put a watermark on a ransom call. There's a second problem nobody's talking about yet. A label can prove something is AI. It can never prove something isn't. So as labeling spreads, a new move appears, dismissing real evidence as fake. A real recording of real misconduct, waved off as just AI. Researchers call it the liar's dividend. The first era was fake things being believed. The next era is real things being denied. So what actually works and what doesn't? The strongest thing you have is provenance, content credentials, a standard backed by most of the industry, from Google and Adobe to news agencies like Reuters and the AP. It's signed data inside the file, saying which tool made it and what's been edited since. When it's there, that's close to proof of origin. Google's version is an invisible watermark called Cynthia D, and it's been applied to more than 100 billion images and videos. Below that, platform labels, the little AI-generated badge on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. YouTube now auto-detects and labels realistic synthetic video on its own. Weakest of the three are the detector tools, the ones that guess from the content itself. Treat those as probability, not verdict. Consumer detectors land somewhere in the 70 to 90% range, and they produce false positives on genuine photographs. And your own eyes? One large detection study put human accuracy at spotting a modern deepfake at 0.1%, 1 in 1,000. So stop budgeting for your instincts. They are not the defense. 5 moves. The first 2 are the ones that matter. Move 1, a family passphrase. Pick a word or short phrase that appears nowhere online, that your family knows and nobody else does. If a call claims an emergency and asks for money or codes, you ask for the phrase. A cloned voice cannot produce a secret it never had access to. This takes one text message tonight, and it's worth more than everything else on this list. The FBI has been recommending exactly this. Move 2. The callback rule. Any urgent call about money, hang up and call back on the number you already have saved, not a number they give you, not by hitting redial. You initiate on a known number. Both stories in this video collapse instantly against that one habit. It took DiStefano 4 minutes and a room full of other people's phones to do what a callback does in 30 seconds. Move 3. Lower your voice supply. You can't erase it from the internet, but you can turn down the volume. Your outgoing voicemail doesn't need to be you. Most carriers offer a synthetic default instead. Move 4. When something feels wrong, check the file, not the vibe. Content Credentials has a free public verify page. Upload the file and see what it says about itself. Look for the platform's AI badge. If neither one shows up, that proves nothing either way, which is exactly why moves 1 and 2 carry the weight. Move 5. If you're ever inside the fake, like Eiswert, don't argue the audio down. Report it to the platform, preserve the file and where you found it, and get it to law enforcement. Forensic analysis is what settled the Baltimore case. And if a voice clone call already cost you money, report it 2 places. The FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center at ic3.gov and the Federal Trade Commission at reportfraud.ftc.gov. Reporting is how the pattern gets seen. Here's the frame to keep. The honest parts of the internet now have to wear a name tag. That's real progress. But a label only tells you about people willing to follow rules. It tells you nothing about the person who calls your mother at 11 at night, sounding exactly like you. So stop trying to authenticate voices and start authenticating channels. A voice can be copied for the price of a coffee. A passphrase can't. A callback can't. The entire defense has quietly moved from what you hear to how you verify. And the people who make that shift will be very hard to rob. Tonight, 2 things. 10 minutes. Send your family the passphrase and tell whoever answers that from now on, you will always call back on the saved number. If this was worth your time, subscribe. One real threat, plain English, fixed the same night every week. And send this to the person in your family most likely to answer that call.